I'm really only going to say a few things. This is very, very important for us. It's important for me. It's important for my wife and my entire family. She has some comments, Becky, that she would like to make, so I'm just going to make a few quick comments. Just a little bit of entertainment. One of the things that they've started to do in our Sergeants Major Academy is make sure that Army Sergeant Majors become more charismatic and they're able to speak to the public and whatnot. But apparently, I've always had a problem with that, so I'm always at a loss for words. But as I think back to just a few short miles from the Afghan capital of Kabul, then Catamount 6 battalion commander of mine, him and I spent the entire night in a helicopter over what we were led to understand as the most violent place on the planet. The folks that came before us had poked their nose into the important geographical and critical Jalrez Valley, only on a number of occasions, only to have to shoot their way back out. And we were told, don't go there, do your work elsewhere. Colonel Gallahue did not miss a beat and brought us all together behind a secured location and said, begin to plan the assault of the Jalrez Valley and to occupy permanently the Jalrez Valley, just a few short miles from where Osama bin Laden was eventually dealt with just a month ago. So I thought that was a big deal. I'm sure he did, but so Colonel Gallahue and I and some other attendees boarded a helicopter in the middle of the night, and I think we were on that freezing helicopter for about 4 hours or something till I finally had to get off, but he stayed on it, and we assaulted the Jalrez Valley, and as soon as the sun came up the next morning, Colonel Gallahue landed on the top of the district center in the Jalrez Valley and stepped off a U.S. Army UH-60 for the first time in the history of the planet. So that's the kind of stuff that's going on. And oh, by the way, we did it without a shot fired that night. So I thought that was somewhere about 8 or 10 inches deep into planned operations that were already ongoing, and he used to keep us about 8 or 10 inches deep in plans for what the future held. So, and that shows today in that same region of central eastern Afghanistan, because that's a completely different place now, and I can certainly assure you that there's a whole lot less Taliban there than there was in the fall of 2008. Anyways, so I thought that was an entertaining story. Real briefly, since everybody thanked the entire group here, I'm absolutely honored on behalf of my family, and we do have a pretty one. I don't know what happened to her, but just to verify Daryl Gardner's statement, but on behalf of my family, I'm absolutely honored to be selected for this great project. And I think without naming each and every single contributor, there is just so much overwhelming support. I think it's a testament of where our nation is moving in terms of the representation and recognition for keeping the enemy at distance and not having to deal with them in Oakland or, thank God, anywhere else in our country. It's lessons that we've learned from things in the past. So without having to recognize each and every group and each and every sponsor and contributor and expert and contractor, I thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and my family thanks you all. I find, you know, the most profound people that participate in this, like Mr. Bill Criswell and Mr. Bill Kurtz, for no personal gain, no personal recognition. He's not even, the two of them have not even taken a chair today. So they, you know, and they're sitting at a picnic table just because the recognition, they don't do this for the recognition. And we have to publicly recognize them for making this effort. It's changed our lives. It's changed everybody's lives here. And before I ask everybody for a special round of applause for them, I'd like to encourage each of you, because we cannot publicly, beyond this program, list each and every contributor. I encourage every one of you, if you need an expert, these folks are the best people in the business. If you need a contractor or a subcontractor or a particular trade, or you just want to share war stories with somebody, pick up this program, Google them, and find these folks in here, because what we owe back to them is the recognition to now support their business as we struggle through, and they struggle through, trying economic times in our country, and it's a great opportunity to reach back to them. So I'd like to give both of my favorite Bills and Daryl Gardner and Jim McQuillan a big round of applause publicly. With that, I'm going to bring my wife. Patrick couldn't make it because he tapped out a few minutes ago. I'm going to bring my beautiful wife up to say a few words. Before I do so, I'd like to thank my battle buddy, Colonel Gallahue. Oh, I said that because she's also injured now too, so it's going to take her a little while to get to the podium. I'd like to thank my battle buddies from the Catamounts, my Ranger buddy, Colonel Gallahue, from traveling a fifth of the way across the country to come here and participate in this for us. It means so much personally, and I thank you for that, sir. I'd like to thank the chaplain and my neighbor up in New York, and also a friend of our family, and the chaplain that dedicated Patrick for his baptism. And so thank you also for coming third of the way across the country to participate in this personally for us. And then I reach out to each and every one of you in uniform, previously in uniform, ROTC, getting ready to take that oath and do what we've done for so long. And our members of USAREC, the Army Recruiting Command, I will not be coming to see you when I'm done, but certainly my best wishes to you in your endeavor to the effort to continue to build our force. So thank you for those that serve, and thank you to every single person that came here today and participated in this for us. Sorry that was so long. My wife has got this means a whole bunch to her, because this just wrecked her day a couple years ago in August. So just hang in there, take a drink of water, listen to her. She doesn't speak often, so she's prepared this for a long time. Thank you very much.
5 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to speak at all. I was not a public speaker, did not do it. I don't want to move closer to the microphone because I'm going to mess it up. Dear, we're in a ceremony. Okay, let me start out by saying thank you for all who attended today. I wanted to speak to you today because I want you to truly understand the impact that this is having on my family and going to have on my family for years to come. This may be a bit emotional, but I truly need you to understand what this has done for my family. Dear, I also need to do this as part of my healing process. And if you bear with me for a few minutes, the bus are standing by. The home will be open so you can finally go in and look at the house that we're talking about. So bear with me. I want to take you back in our family history a bit with the events that led up today. I promise not to be too long, but it's a compelling story. I have always believed things happen for a reason. We may not know why, they just do, and someday we'll know the reason. I believe that more now than ever. In 2005, we moved to Georgia from Florida. We lived in Lakeland, and Pat worked at the University of Tampa. I was hired at a great company and thought we were getting ready to retire. 2 weeks after Pat started his job, he got a call that would change the rest of our lives. He was selected for promotion to Sergeant Major in the Sergeant Major Academy in Texas. We'd be moving again in 10 months. So much for retirement. When you're in the Army, you do what the Army says. We moved to Texas and spent 10 months there, and that is where our little Patrick was born. We moved to New York 2 weeks after Patrick was born. 3 moves in 3 years was a lot for all of us. But I think TJ had the hardest time. Changing schools for the 4th time, and meeting new friends, and leaving them behind. Pat had a decision to make about being stationed at Port Drum. One other Sergeant Major wanted to go there, and there were 4 assignments. One for an early deployment 2 months after we moved there, and 3 for a later deployment the following year.